interview is for the Westchester Area School District Legacy Project. What is your name, school, and graduation? Did you go to school?
My name is Gary Erb. I graduated in 1960 from Westchester Joint Senior High School.
Okay, so how did you get to school? Like, what was your transportation?
We walked to school. I lived on Biddle Street, the other west end of Biddle Street. We walked 7 blocks to school every day.
Did you have the same yellow buses we have today?
Yes, we did.
Were there any differences, like different companies?
Not that I recall. I think it may have been a different company back then.
Probably.
I'm not sure.
So, what subjects did you take in middle school and high school?
And we took, if I can remember, we took algebra, math. We had 3 languages. We had Spanish, we had French, we had Latin, we had biology, we had chemistry, history, health. I think basically that was it.
So how many students were in your graduating class?
300.
300?
300.
So, what grades went to elementary school?
Elementary school was grade 1 through 6. Junior high school was 7 through 9, and senior high school was 10 through 12.
Okay. So, like, what was your most memorable experience of school?
My most memorable, I would say, would be playing sports, participating in all different kinds of sports. We spent a lot of time at the YMCA. That's where I learned to swim. On weekends, we would play a lot of basketball. On Tuesday nights, we went to basketball games. And then after the basketball games, we would go to the what they call Benny's Pizzeria, which was on Gay Street in Westchester.
So were there any other, like, sports you did?
I played basketball, I played baseball, I did swimming. That's basically the 2 main sports that I participated in.
Okay, so how is your school experience different from it is today?
Well, you know, I walk in here and I don't really see that many differences. I mean, the only thing that I know that, I don't know whether you kids did it, but back then, we worked. In other words, I worked when I was in 6th grade. I worked part-time. And through the course of my years, I worked different part-time jobs.
Okay, so, like, when you went to school, were the schools segregated by race,
No, they
by
weren't.
gender?
Not at all.
And, did you go on field trips?
The field trips that I remember, we used to go to Valley Forge, we went to the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia, we did the Liberty Bell, the Betsy Ross House. They're basically the things that I remember. Not that many field trips.
So, was there, like, bullying in your school? Like, any troubles?
No, not at all.
Like,
In fact, I got along with everyone. We basically got along with it. There was never segregation or anything like that.
did you see any bullying?
No, not at all.
Wow, that's surprising.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So, like, were there after-school activities you participated
The
in?
after-school activities would have been basically sports, the YMCA, bowling. What else? I think that's about it.
Did they have, like, drama clubs or, like...
Yes, they had clubs. I was not in the drama.
Oh. What other clubs were there
Oh,
that you
jeez.
remember?
That I remember, we had arts and crafts. We had Spanish club. I remember that. That's basically all I remember.
So, like, in those clubs, like, you didn't go to any clubs?
No.
Okay, so, is there any differences in sports, like, today?
It's basically the same. I think you have more emphasis on soccer today than we did. We never did that much. Basically, baseball and basketball were our main sports.
Do they have any, like, size differences, like the basketball?
Same size.
Okay. Would you like to show your yearbook?
Sure. 1960, 52 years ago.
Okay, so what would you like to show?
What would you like to see? You saw my senior picture, right? And then this was like this was a pitcher who was a very good friend of mine. The whole basketball team. I ran cross country also. I'm not in this picture, but I'll show you my cross country picture. Hold on a second. Where is that? Oh, yes, down here. There's cross country, that's me.
That's interesting. Would you like to explain about cross country?
And I was a co-captain on the cross country team. We ran about 3.5 miles when we ran a race.
How much did you practice? Like how many miles?
We practiced every day, and usually we ran anywhere from 5 miles to 7 or 8 miles for practice. We ran up and down the stadium steps and out in the countryside.
So, do you like have any memories just from cross country?
Any memories from cross country? Just competing in some of the races and the number of people who ran in the races. Or sometimes if you ran in the state tournament, you had like 200 people running in that tournament.
Wow. So, you said you were in the basketball team? Or?
I just played in intramural sports.
Intramural.
I didn't play for the varsity.
Intramural. Was there any memories from that?
No, that I played basketball with all the members of the varsity team. I did play with them.
You did?
But they asked me, why didn't you go out for basketball? I just didn't go out for it. I should have, put it that way.
So, is there anything else you'd like to say?
I played baseball. I didn't play on the varsity, but I was a baseball pitcher.
You were?
And we won the championship a couple years in a row.
When
Back then, we didn't have Little League. We had what they called Midget League. And I was a pitcher, Midget League, age 14 to 17. And I pitched for the team, and I played first base.
Well, that's cool. Is there anything, like other pictures you'd like to show?
I think that's probably about it. Okay, there's the basketball team. This is the junior varsity team, and a lot of those guys were friends of mine also.
So thank you for your time. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to show?
The only thing back then, in the summertime, we had what they call a park system. And the park system, people, you kids probably get bored in the summer as to what to do with yourselves. We had different parks in different parts of Westchester. And that's where we would go, and they had all different kinds of sports there. They had arts and crafts, and they had a counselor who would be like a teacher, basically. And we would spend the day there if we didn't have anything else to do.
So, would you like to tell about the fire at Henderson?
From what I recall, I don't remember the date. I keep thinking it was 1948. I lived on Biddle Street, and I could see the fire, the flames from my house, from my bedroom in my house.
Were you scared?
And I was scared, yes. And the whole one side of the building, there were 2 buildings, the whole one side burned completely down. That other building is still there today, and they are apartment buildings. And a friend of mine who I grew up with owns that apartment building.
Really?
Owns that school, yes.
That's interesting.
Junta Brothers. That guy's name was Leonard Junta.
Yeah.
He owns that building.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, so what was the first thing you thought when you saw the fire?
Well, I guess I was probably 6 years old at the time, so I really don't remember that much about it, except being scared. And I do remember, like, when I had my 6th grade, anyone familiar with the public library in Westchester? On Church Street? That's where my 6th grade was.
So was this in the morning or like in the afternoon?
That was all day, yes.
All day?
Yes. They did have morning and
Could you
afternoon
like
classes.
smell the
You
smoke
can smell the
and
smoke,
everything?
yes, yes.
Oh, that is interesting. So, thank you for your time, and that concludes this interview for
Thank you.
today.
Thank you, Veronica.